Okay, so we're doing a very narrow space training today. All right, so if you are limited to only having a narrow space, you're going to struggle to do things like your kata. So if we take kicks at edge, one, smack, I'm getting the wall, leg into the wall. Okay, so first thing that you can start doing is imagine how you'd use the kata in this direction or this direction. So any kata, any way you want to do it, it starts becoming about a straight line fight and how you would approach that fight. Okay, so I'm moving further back down the passage. Okay, I'm going to take a casual command. All right, so maybe I'm retreating, absorbing. 1, 2, 3. So I'm keeping myself within the kata. Let me show you that again. So I'm matching my feet to manage space. I move back, I absorb, I move forward. I could step forward and strike, but I can also step back and forward and strike. My mindset would be some kind of attacks coming, back, absorb, push, punch, over, another attack coming, 1, 2. And this will help you to develop your bunkai when you're doing more than one attack. Little piece of advice, like my passage is only 3 tiles wide. I move, some of my attacks will be on one line, and when I change direction and redirect myself, I'm going to go up and down on the second line. Alright, if I likewise take the movements from cipher, really uncomfortable here. So the idea of moving in and controlling the center line. Controlling center line. Okay? Should the movement on the next part be this way, swivel. 1, 2. One more power here. 1, 2. Step through, punch if you want to just practice bunkai. So passage is a great place for creative training and also for somewhat narrow linear fighting. Next thing is, if you can manage to outflank a person in a passage, outflank means I'm standing, you attack, and I move right up and next to you, then you will learn how to cut, bend, fold, space and time, and your opponent will never know how to get to you. So I'm here, I move in, move back, in, move back. So I'm practicing moving to the side of the person, to the outside in the dojo. Move to the outside of the attack between the elbow and shoulder, checking out the person's earwax. That's kind of how you're training. The attack's going off on the 2 lines towards the back, and I'm moving. If I go 1, 2, I'm still on part of their attack. They're going to get me. What I need to do is move this leg and then hip pulls this leg. Now totally past. So a lot of the time people get caught in the idea of moving sideways first. You move forward and out the way and back. Forward and out the way and back. Alright, so this is one idea. The next thing you can do in your passage is obviously it's a great place to practice balancing. So working things like kicks, always a good place to work. Developing the muscles in between. Many mothers and fathers are going to be very upset with me because this is kind of nearly the same width as a door frame. And as a child, my idea was practicing mawashi and hook kick. so that I develop the muscles to create those kicking movements. So there's a couple of very, very basic ideas. Other ideas that you work on relate to the wall. Pulling the knees back. If I go to the other side of the passage, pushing the knees back, working on shikodachi. Okay? And then with the child that I had, the passage was obviously the place where we practiced the best kind of understanding of forward and backward movement for tournament fighting. Just taking the basic ideas of jab, kyakuzuki, front kick, same hand punch, oizuki, my way, maigiri, oizuki. Alright, without too much deviation, building speed and power rather than building a devious kind of break of line and attack. It's very, very difficult. It requires a great deal of timing. What you end up finding is that as a child, literally, you just need to be faster than the other person and have good control. And you can develop these techniques that you become a good fighter. You can practice fighting position, back, kyakuzuki, forward, kyakuzuki. If I show you what my feet are doing, back, drop, hit. Not a very good point score because I believe your energy is moving backwards, front foot moving forward, hit, and you would just spend hours and hours doing this. The best thing about this is you learn to fight on a very narrow stance, like a Zen Kutsudachi, slightly off the line so that you can bend your knees and you can have a nice low position and your head can rotate. For any technique to score properly in tournament fighting, it must complete all the prerequisite requirements. A lot of the time, people go to tournaments, they watch the fighters, and they say it's a game of touch. And you'll hear somebody saying, but I touched them. I didn't get the point. I touched the person 10 times, 15 times. The referee didn't give me the point. Bad referees. No, not bad referee. Either bad student or even worse, bad sensei. If you want to do tournament fighting, sport karate, you need to know what the rule is. You need to know how the referee interprets those rules and what the technical skill level should be to constitute a technical point. And that's what makes karate such a difficult thing to understand for the average person just watching. They think it's just a game of touch. It is a highly, highly technical pursuit in terms of tournament fighting. And to be quite honest, it's because of this high degree of technicality that I don't think you're going to see and find that karate is a great spectator kind of event based on how the rules are currently written, how the fighters are fighting to preserve a point, manage a point in terms of Olympics. All right. Spent a lot of time playing in that environment. I don't think it's a place where you've got to dedicate your entire life. But I do think if you're a child growing up, the idea of having a narrow space and learning to move forward and backwards for fighting is a very, very important step in developing your tournament for the 10 or 15 years that you might do tournament fighting. Personally, I loved tournament fighting. I loved to do kumite and Shihai kumite in particular because it had this great rush. It wasn't about the spectators for me. It was about what I felt when I was fighting. So you've got to get your head around that. And that's it. My favorite two places for training as a child growing up was the passage at home, something similar to this, and inside the door frame working on kicking. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.